Aye. Dancers was the second short story I wrote way back in 1992, and it was for submitting to a ghost story competition in Writers' News in Britain. To my great surprise, it won second prize, got me $100, or £100 at the time. Since then, it's gone on to appear in 6 different languages. It's been done as a short radio broadcast 3 times, and it was made into a short film. It currently appears in my collection from Crystal Lake Publishing, Samurai and Other Stories, which is this one here, and I'm going to read it for you today. Give me a chance to get on page. It's called Dancers. Yes, I know it's getting dark, and I know it's getting cold, but just come over here for a minute. It won't take much of your time, and there's something I want you to see. Something I need you to see. There's also something I want to show you, and somebody I'd like you to meet. Come on, humour an old man. I need to tell this. It's a secret. It's just there, behind the church. Yeah, in the older graveyard. You're not afraid, are you? I promise, there's nothing there that'll hurt you. Not you. And watch out for the moss and the stones. Some of the slimier stuff gets embedded in your clothes and it's murder trying to get it out. Just about there, that's the best spot. Stand quietly now. Let your eyes get adjusted to the dark. You'll soon see why I brought you here. And there she is. Do you see her? She's standing right there, look. In front of the large grey angel, just to the left of the patch of moonlight, underneath the old elm. Yeah, there, beside the big headstone. My Sarah. Forever young, forever 20. Look how the red of her hair glows, like a burning firebrand, a halo around the white perfection of her face. And look, she's wearing the dress, the one I bought her for the dance. That was the last dance of our youth. £3 2 and 6 that dress cost me. More than a week's wages in those days. Times have changed, haven't they? My mother told me I was mad, spending all that money on a slip of a girl who was no better than she should be. But I thought she was worth every penny. I was drunk with the delight that danced in her eyes when she tried it on, swaying her hips to get the full effect from the pleats. I can still remember now, 50 odd years and more later, many strangers' kisses later, the sweet taste of her lips as she thanked me, the pressure of her hands on my back as we embraced. I wish she would touch me now. Just one touch to bring us together here at the end. If only she could see me. There's so much I never told her. See how still she is, how composed. The wind doesn't ruffle her, the rain doesn't dampen her, the earth doesn't cling to her, and yet there's something more there. Look closely. She breathes, she blinks, her lips part and connect, but there's no steam in this cold night. Not like you and I, standing here puffing at each other. It's almost winter here, but for her it's summer. Always summer. See those lips? Look how red and enticing they are. They were like that last night, glistening moistly as she looked up at me, smiling, dancing, laughing. We moved around the dance floor, we were young, the war hadn't touched us, and I was in love. The night held the prospect of many pleasures, and then he turned up. I knew he was going to be trouble. Right from the start I could see what he was. American, charming, and different. Hello excitement, goodbye dependability. In the space of a minute, I'd lost her forever. You want to know how that happened? He butted in on our dance. Just barged right in. He scoozed himself and off they went, whirling around the floor in a flurry of legs, feet and arms. I tried to stop him as he came round again, but he had all the advantages. Height, weight, diet, composure, training. I just had my anger. Afterwards, as I lay there on the floor, my tongue counting teeth and my handkerchief trying to soak up blood, I heard a laugh. I looked up, my eyes had already begun to puff up, and I saw her, only 6 feet away, but she was very, very distant, clinging onto the conqueror. Her hair made a red scar when it fell on her shoulder. In that moment I knew what I would have to do. Can you see? She's moving. Watch. Does she walk like you and me, or does she glide, smooth and silent like an owl? Listen. Can you hear the gravel when she steps? Or is there only you and me in the quiet? You can't tell, can you? She deceives the brain. Doesn't brook too much attention. Try not to look too close. Think about someone else. Ah, yeah. The chiming. There's the bells. Must be 8 o'clock again. Do you think she's able to hear? She'll be heading for the wall. When she reaches it, she'll rest her elbows and look over there to the field on her left. That's where the airfield used to be. I remember the women. They stood there, silent, waiting, listening for the sounds that would tell them that their men were coming back. They used to peel off one at a time as the planes returned, until only a few were left. See how the moonbeams dance around her, making her glow, white, pure, and no shadow. Never any shadow. He was corrupting her. I could see that even then. I'd see them out in the street, laughing, giggling like a pair of kids fresh out of school, and kissing, in public, right there in the street, for everybody to see. And again later in the pub, flaunting themselves in front of me. And of course, she had stockings, and lipstick, and chocolate, and cigarettes. The price of her innocence, the wages of her sin. I hoped it wouldn't be too late, that she was still capable of being saved. I watched, I waited, and I planned. He continued with her destruction, but soon I'd have my turn. Look how she moves around the stones. She's not even trying to pass through them. Does she look solid to you? You can't see through her. It's not like in the books or the films. Do you think if I went over there and put it in my hand, she'd be able to take it? Be able to feel? Would she notice I was there? I've often over the years thought about why she returns. It's only now, when I get near my own end, I'm able to look at it dispassionately. Maybe, when I go to join her, do you think we'll both understand then? Do you know I used to be a mechanic? I was a good one as well, bloody good. It was easy. I run in the airfield, so it was simple to wangle myself into the servicing of his plane. Once I'd spent a few minutes aboard, it was only a matter of waiting for his next flight. I was subtle though. I didn't want the plane blown up over land, not over England anyway. My work might have been noticed. No, the explosion would occur only when it climbed to more than 1,000 feet. That should do it. By the time it reached that height, it'd be well out over the channel. And he took the plane out the very next day. Look, she's reached the wall. See how her elbows stay white despite the damp in the moss? Her eyes will be moist though, there'll be tears. But are they real? Can I maybe touch them? Touch them and feel her pain? The day after I did the job in the plane, the flight took off. 12 planes gathering information, beginning on a long climb into the sky. I watched them as they rose up into the clouds, then listened. I listened closely as they droned away. Was there an explosion? I never did find out. Whether I'm a murderer or not, he never came back. And I never lost the guilt. Later that day, the sky was filled with sounds and the planes were coming back. The women left the wall one by one until she was the last one there. She stood for ages, trying to look up into the clouds, willing him to return. And I stood just about here and watched, cursing her for her devotion, cursing him for his hold on her. Darkness fell and the skies grew quiet. It was late summer. The temperature was dropping rapidly. A light drizzle began to fall, chilling me to the bone. And still she waited, and still I watched. See it? There's a cigarette. See how it looks in her fingers? It doesn't look right. It burns. There's a good quarter of an inch of ash at the end, but there's no smoke here, no smell. He started her off in that habit. She told me that morning she did it because it made her look like a lady, a real lady. She was a lady to me long before that. It makes me angry. And it made me angry that night. I couldn't watch it anymore. See how she turns, surprised. Now she'll look confused for a second. Then she'll see it's just me. Only the young, fresh-faced, solid, dependable, boring me. Watch closely now. You just catch the disappointment. It flits across her face, and then she turns her back again, returns to watching for him. One look, and I was consigned to despair. I grabbed her by the shoulder, pulled her around to face me, demanding she explain herself. She struggled in my arms, and I held on as we moved around, parody of the waltz again. Held her as she screamed, her lips contorted in rage. She screamed at me again, and she pulled away, and this time she was too strong for me to hold on. Surprised to be free so easily, she fell, lost her balance. I reached out desperately for her, but she went down slowly, very slowly, towards the gravestone. And then came the sound. That's the sound I hear every night, late at night, in my dreams. Her neck, as it broke. So now, we stand here, all these years later, and we wait. She's waiting for a sweetheart who will never return. Me, I'm waiting for an end to guilt. And a hope of forgiveness, maybe. I don't know now which of us is more dead. But still, the time passes, and I watch every night, and she dances. Just for me. Thanks for listening.